Morning, everybody. It's me, Michael. My name is Michael Kyer. I use he, him pronouns. I'm out here streaming 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 a.m. If you're visiting me in the chat, say hi. I'd love to hear from you. I'm watching chat today. I'm not posting it up here on the screen. I'm going to be talking about video presentation and recording. So part 2 of phase 2. Phase 1, getting all your documents together, checklist, make sure you're ready to go. And then we got to the fun part, phase 2, which is creating a little bit of content to use throughout, to use in our advertisements, to use during as slides. And then today we're going to talk about video presentation, how to look good on camera. I've done a piece about that before. It was a little bit longer, but you can check that out on my YouTube. I've got that archived there. And so we'll go through some of the basics about video presentation and about video recording. I'm not going to do any real software today. This is just going to be sort of talking in some sort of philosophical, if you will, bits. To get you ready to do this video stuff, that we're video first world that we're in. We're trying to get your message out there, get what you're doing out there, and video is a huge part of it. So that is where we are headed. Now, let's see. So, all right. First, as important as video is, it is actually only one of 3 parts that you use to engage with your audience. So you've got video, you've also got audio, and you've got text. And they work together. They really do. They work together to, those are the ways you can engage with your audience. So as much importance as that's put on video, those other 2, you can't forget those. You can't forget those. So today we're talking specifically about video, and this is the fun part for me. Going live, pushing the button, pushing your record button, pushing turning your video on. This is the fun part. I know that, for a lot of folks, getting started with the video is sort of, difficult. There's a jump you have to make to get ready to be able to go live and talk on camera, but it's a jump in your head. It's actually, technically speaking, it's the easiest to do, right? The text, we had to write things down, and we had to think about what we were doing and type things out, and I don't even know how many buttons that is. That's a lot of buttons. But when you get to the video part, you're really just looking at one button. Once you've got your hardware hooked up, it's usually just one button. In Zoom, it's the video button. If you're in OBS, you're going to activate your video source. So to get the video actually on isn't all that difficult. But we've got a lot of things in our head that are going to stop us, keep us from turning that video on. And so that's what I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about today, is those pieces that stop us from to get to this. This is the fun part. You can get out here and do your music if that's what you want to put out there. You can do your whatever you're creating. If you're building something, maybe you're just talking about software like I do, whatever it is. But that's the part we're trying to get to. So my name is Michael Kyer. I'm out here often. I'm putting on a big event, as you can see, on February 19th, and we're going to put all these pieces together, sort of, like a jigsaw puzzle, like in a little geometric shapes, if you will. But that's what we're going to be doing next week. But on February 19th, we're going to be having a showcase event of all of these pieces that we've been working on to show you how it looks once it's all done and finished, and you've got all the stuff, and you're live and you're talking to your audience. That's what we're going to be doing there. So you can go to my website, michaelkyer.net, And RSVP if you want to be live or be in the live Zoom meeting, which is where we're going to be, the main audience is going to be. And then we'll be streaming to all my different platforms like I usually do. And so you can engage in the chat there, but you'll be able to see the video and all the stuff that we're putting together. So I'm just going to go ahead and switch over just to video, just so we can just do just video. So let me see, I'm going to get something, move this around. All right, so the video part, it does tend to be the hardest for folks. There's a lot of fear involved. There's lots of reasons you may not want, you may be hesitant to get on camera. But they really are in your head. I mean, you might be thinking that, you don't like the way you look, or maybe you're going to make a mistake, or, maybe somebody's going to laugh at you. There's all sorts of reasons, but those tend to be self-doubt and self-judgment that are keeping you from making that jump, that first jump, and it really is that. It is a jump. So there's a couple of things that I think might help, and it's actually math. So the internet is a huge place. It's huge. Google how big is the internet, and there's a whole bunch of, I don't know. I mean, it's massive, right? So, and there's lots of people, billions of people on the internet. So the nice thing is that lots of people out there just don't care. They just don't care about your video. They don't care if you made a mess. They don't care if you're looking like making yourself look all silly. If it's not looking quite right, they just don't care. So, okay, well that takes, some of the fear out of it, right? So that's part of the math thing. It's so large that a good portion of folks aren't going to care. There's so many reasons too. There can be all sorts of reasons. Maybe somebody watches your video and they're like, there's no cats there. I don't watch anything without cats. Boom, they're gone. Maybe they don't like, you don't have a blue background. Maybe nothing but blue backgrounds. So they're going to, gone. Maybe they get there and they're like, well, I thought this was Netflix. I thought this was going to be, I'm watching whatever. Gone. So when you're putting your video together, lots of people aren't going to care or even see it. So it's a great reason, I mean, nothing to be scared of there. So again, that self-doubt and that self-judgment, that's really, a lot of what keeps us from moving forward. And the corollary, I guess, to that is a great reason to turn that video on, to get moving with your video, to get your content out there, is that there are so many people out there. There's somebody who's going to want to watch what you're doing, right? There's somebody who's going to be just as interested in whatever it is you're putting out there as you are. They might not be able to go live for one reason or another. They might just want to watch the content, and so they would benefit from what you're doing. So that's a fantastic reason to get out there. There are people out there who want to watch what you're doing. It's finding them that tends to be the difficult part, finding them. They are out there. It does take work. There's a lot of different programs that you can either buy or find that give you a very detailed outline of how to make your videos viral. If you're trying to build, a large audience, you want to have 1,000 viewers or 10,000 viewers or subscribers or whatever it is, there's a very straightforward way to do it, and it's work. You put in the time over and over again. You keep doing it, and you're going to find that audience who wants to watch your content. So that's the reason to do it. All right, same thing. Internet is huge. Most people don't care. Some people do. You just got to find them. So reason to go live. There's plenty of reasons to go live. I want positive content. I really do. That's what I'm looking for, is positive content, good messages. A lot of the advertisements that you'll see for, getting you to go live, or they will use fear to sell their product, fear-based advertising. And I don't like that. I really don't like that. It doesn't. It is effective for certain things, I suppose, but it just doesn't put a good taste in my mouth. It really doesn't. Like, as an example, if I get an advertisement email, right, and you just see the initial one line where you don't see the whole thing, but you see what it is. If there's a single negative word in there, I won't even look at it. I really won't. I just, no. I don't care who it's from. It could be from Commander-in-Chief himself, President of the United States. POTUS at Gmail. I'm not going to open it if it says something negative. I'm just not going to do it. So positive content, positive things, that's what we're trying to get out there. Tons of reasons to get out and get that and get your message out there. So if you're fearful, if you think it's scary, it can be. There's a jump to make, but it's a jump in your head. And, get out there, have fun, make a mess, play, right? Learn stuff. That's a great way to go about it. So I'm going to go into a few little tips, mainly as far as what I'm going to do today. Just a few tips that I've learned along the way to kind of make the process a little bit easier. Finding that audience is one thing, but getting going initially, there's all sorts of things that are like technical bits that can kind of get in the way. But so I'm going to do this first part, and this really is the key to the whole thing. So if you haven't watched up to this point, you're just getting here. My name is Michael Kyer, and I stream out here on just about every platform, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific, from the great Pacific Northwest. And I use he, him pronouns. And I'm putting on a really fantastic showcase event on February 19th to showcase everything that we're doing, putting everything that we're doing here together. So the first part here, the key to all of this, a good friend of mine taught me this a long time ago, Peter. So, and it's pretty basic. All right, here it is. Sit up, turn the lights on, smile, and look at the camera. It makes a difference. It really does. It engages your audience in a way that's more natural. That is not, you're sort of leaning back here, or you're not engaged, or they can't see you. If you want to engage with your audience, they need to be able to see you. And you can do lots of things with lighting. Lighting really makes a difference. You can have those circle lights in front of you. I've got multiple lights. I've got a key light, which is the main light coming at me. I've got a fill light to kind of take the shadow out, and then a backlight to adjust it. And I can play with those in all sorts of different ways and get a different feel, a different vibe. And it depends on what you're putting out there. It depends on what it is, what your content is. Maybe you've got a more laid back, mellow vibe. Yeah, if you heard that, that was my dog Milo. He's a little puppy, and he wants to come online. He doesn't mind going live. He just goes. So maybe we'll get him on here someday. But so turning on the lights, smiling, look at the camera, different ways to work with your lights. That takes experimentation. It just depends on what look you're going for with your stream. So those are the basics, and as simple as they sound, I'm still adjusting lights. I've been doing this for almost 2 years, and I'm still adjusting things. So that is, it's important. It's important. So smiling, looking at the camera, turning on the lights. Okay. Now, one of the mistakes that I made early is I wanted everything to be perfect. I was like, perfect. It's got to be perfect, right? So I'd set everything up. I'd get squared up in the camera, lights are on, everything I was talking about. And then I would get ready to go, and I had my hand on the record button, and I'd push record and try and do whatever I was talking about. But invariably I'd make a mistake, or whatever it was. I was trying to get that clip perfect. Make a mistake, turn it off, start over again, reset. You don't have to stop the recording. Okay, so what I suggest is kind of what I do here at the beginning of my stream, is just start it and let the recording start. And just know in those first few minutes, you're not trying to do the content yet. One of the things that I found was really helpful is you can use it to kind of make some faces at the camera, get yourself warmed up, and then later on, you can always maybe find a good still image in there that you like. You could use that as one of your thumbnails or on some of your advertisements. So that's a good time to get that practice, that beginning practice in as you're starting. And if you do make a mistake, you don't have to turn it off, right? You just keep going. You can just take a break, hold on, reset in your mind, and then try it again. When you go to do your post-production, your editing, that's where you can find the part that you're, okay, that was the good one, right? So just let the tape roll, get on there. If you're making it, just keep going. And then you can clip out the one that works for you for whatever it is you're doing. Let's see, make a mistake, right. So then when you're done, you go through and you can watch that whole thing all the way through in your video editing software. And tomorrow we'll get to some of those. We'll go through and kind of point out the technical bits of those. But what you're going to be doing is just dropping some markers in. If there's pieces either that you want to cut out or the pieces that you want to keep, you just watch it through, drop those markers in, and then you can go back and get further, dialed in with those edits. And if you're doing something like I'm doing, where it's just one continuous video stream or very similar, it's just one static shot, and you say you clip something, right? You don't, as important as transitions from one to the next are, if it's a static shot like that, a little hiccup is not going to be noticed enough to have to worry about some complicated transition. So you get that going, and then later on you can add those more complicated bits, those cool transitions or a fade or seamless transitions. You can build that skill set later on. But when you're first getting started, just being able to clip the beginning, clip the end, clip the piece that you want, add a title card, add an end card, that is enough to get you going. It really is. And depending on your level of skill, you might want a particular video editor. They can get really complicated. YouTube has one in that the editor there. It's very basic, but it's a great place to start. It's perfectly acceptable to use it, especially for just those little, really, just you're taking the big chunks. Just this piece is the part I want. Great place to start, that video editor. So you're making your video, you kind of have, you're going to be doing the whole thing. Check your audio. You can do that in the first part. Check to make sure your audio is working, so that you don't have to tape it and get a good one and forget to do the audio, which I've done. I didn't do the audio. So, and then I also, my record button, I actually put a big reminder on here. Record it, record it, because you might forget, you get a good cut. It's not there because you didn't record it. Very frustrating, very frustrating. So, let's see. We've got that, transitions, double check your audio. And then the level of detail of your editors. Start with your basic tools. Get those. Get your basic skills set, and then you can build. You can learn, and add and have fun with it. Then once you've got it all recorded, this is another thing that kind of throws people, is that videos can be recorded in a bunch of different formats. So most of us are familiar with an MP4, and that's a particular format, but there are others. So if you see a little extension or whatever, that's something you want to check to see, and that'll be in the technical piece, which we'll go through when we get to the editors. But for now, it's a good point is that those can be converted back and forth. And each format depends on what's being recorded and how it's being recorded, and technical details that you can get into. You can really do a deep dive into those. But you can convert back and forth. So if you're looking for one particular one, maybe you didn't record it in the format that you wanted, you can go later on and you can convert those. So I didn't know that. I was fumbling around looking for a way to fix what I was doing. Tried redoing things. I was like, I had it set in MKV and not MP4, so I had to go back and adjust it. And but they can be converted. So that's just a quick reminder that that's something that's out there. So take some time to prepare what you're doing, but don't let it get in the way of pushing that go button. The video really is the easier part technically to do once you've got things sort of planned out and you're ready to go. It's the part in your head that is the difficult jump to make. So that's really it. All that I have for video presentation and recording today. There's some very basic tips, but it's a huge jump in your head. It really is. So I make it sound simple. It does sound simple. It is simple, but it's a big step for a lot of folks. So like I said at the beginning, it's kind of a math thing. There's so many people out there that most people aren't going to care if you make a mess. They're not going to care if you look funny. A lot of those things can be adjusted. If you don't like something, you can make some adjustments in the future. But then, again, to go back with that, is that there are lots of people out there who want to listen to what you're saying, who will benefit from your presentation, your content. So please get out there, get your stream going, watch my stuff. That'll help with some of the technical bits and some of this, philosophy piece and best practices and whatever. Get your content going. I'd love to see it, love to see positive stuff. That's what I try to do here. I try to help show a lot of the streaming tools and ideas that I've run across in the last couple of years that really, really work. The stuff that I put on here, I've used a bunch. It's been vetted. It works. It's stable. You might have a personal, there might be something with your system, or it's a bad day, or you're not feeling good, or there's definitely things that can go wrong. But the things that I put out here have been tested and work well. I use them all the time. OBS, Canva, Zoom. Now I'm using Restream. All these things, all the stuff that I've got on my YouTube and my website, they work. So that's something you can be at least hopefully a little bit confident about, is that the tools work. But you can't blame your tools. Get in there, use them. If it's a bad tool, you can make some adjustments. Hopefully you've got some good tools, and that's what I try and put out here. So, kind of a short stream today, just about 24 minutes in. I think I covered everything I wanted to cover, really. It's going to make your show a success, because you're going to be able to engage with your audience very effectively. If you've got, your video and your presentation, looking good and lit up, and you're sitting up and you're smiling and you're having a good time and you're enjoying it, because this really is the fun part. All the work that we did, the writing things down, the typing things, the preparing things, advertising things, all of that is definitely, it's a grind, it's work. But when you push the go live button, it's fun. And it's really sort of, generates a lot of anxiety too. It's scary, it's fun. It's lots of fun. So please visit my website, michaelkyer.net, if you have you want to RSVP for the event on February 19th, and I hope to see you there. That will be it'll be a lot of fun. It'll be a lot of fun. We're going to be putting all these pieces together. Like I said earlier, kind of like a jigsaw puzzle, kind of like, a bunch of just, geometric shapes that we're putting together. Make something look nice. So I hope to see you there. I think that's it for today. Let me double check. Yep. So next week, actually tomorrow, Friday, Friday, the 21st, January, we're going to get into some of the video editors. We're going to go through them real quick, kind of show you where the big main pieces are, so you can do those cuts that we were talking about when you've got your recording. And I've got a basic one, and then sort of an intermediate one, and then more complicated one. And they're all free. You've got the YouTube editor, and then Shotcut, and then DaVinci Resolve. And so there's like a basic, an intermediate, and then a more advanced version. And so that's what we'll be doing on Friday, and then we'll have some really great content. And then next week, what we'll be getting into is putting a lot of these pieces together and practicing. Now I've got all these pieces to work with. I've got, my documentation, I've got my video, I've got these different pieces. Now we're going to start putting it together and using it in the software and doing some test runs of the meeting or the event that you're putting on. Start putting those pieces together. Not a full rehearsal, but just some initial testing of, is this, can I get used to this? So you can start to build some of that muscle memory. Some of that, okay, I already know where this is, I know where this is, I know where this is, I know it's working. Get that rhythm going. So that's where we're at with that. And I'll talk a little bit about organizing things and destinations. Once you've got that video edited, the destinations for where we want to store things, because organization is important. That's why we started with organization. It's really, really important. So my name is Michael Kyer. I use he, him pronouns. I'm out here streaming Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific. I've got a great showcase event February 19th. Please go to my website. I keep doing that. michaelkyer.net. You can RSVP for the main event. It's on Zoom. And if not, you can go to any of my other links and watch it there. Most of those redirect back to YouTube, so that's always the easiest place to go is YouTube. If there's a link to that on my website and just about everywhere else. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to cut it off. If there's anybody in the chat, go ahead and say hi. I'd love to hear from you. I'm going to cut the stream, though, for right now, and get to working on getting ready for Friday, getting ready for trimming up the video I just made. I started off earlier with 10 minutes early to get that stuff set up, so I need to go back and trim those off because I consistently leave the front part on, and it's like 10 minutes of just dead air. So probably a bunch of people watch my videos and are like, there's nothing here. So I need to make those a little bit neater. But anyway, so I'm going to leave it there. Good